Okay. We'll call the Willmar City Council meeting to order for Monday, November 19th. Roll call.
Mayor Calvin.
Here.
Councilmember Nelson.
Here.
Christensen.
Here.
Schwantes.
Here.
Alvarado.
Here.
Osmus.
Here.
Maskey.
Here.
Plowman. Fagerly. 7 present, 2 absent.
Let's please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I am recommending that we pull the Y Master agreements from the agenda for this evening as they're not prepared and ready, and also to pull from the consent agenda item, the Dover Township Fire Agreement, because the numbers are incorrect. Is there anything else for proposed additions or deletions to the agenda? Seeing and hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. The consent items, Councilmember, I'm sorry, Ms. Thompson.
On tonight's consent agenda, we have for council's approval the City Council meeting minutes of November 5th, the Willmar Municipal Utilities Board minutes of November 13th, Planning Commission minutes of November 7th, Board of Canvass minutes of November 14th, a resolution for certification of unpaid utility charges as a lien, approved Civic Center special event on-sale liquor license permit for the New Year's Eve bonspiel, approved Civic Center special event on-sale liquor license permit for the novice bonspiel, reappointment as members of Airport Commission, Patrick Curry and David Little, Municipal Utilities Commission, Brendan McDonald and Ross Magnuson, Planning Commission, Jonathan Markand and Terry Seek, Rice Hospital Board, Andrea Piskey and Dr. Lee Cafferty, Zoning Appeals, Andy Engen, Human Rights Commission, Barbara Little, Charter Commission, Kelly Welch, Patrick Curry, Carla Tinklenberg. These are the Chief District Judge appoints them. Council's acceptance, Police Department statistics for the month of October, Fire Department statistics for the month of October, Building Inspection Report for the month of October, and the Accounts Payable Report for November 1 through 14, 2018. And for Council's information, the application for appointment to the Human Rights Commission for Nate Erickson.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion. Roll call.
Councilmember Nelson.
Aye.
Christensen.
Aye.
Schwantes.
Aye.
Alvarado.
Aye.
Osmus.
Aye.
Maskey.
Aye.
6 ayes, 0 nays.
That resolution, motion and resolution passes. Next, we have consideration of a petition for an orderly annexation by joint agreement. Mr. Bruce Peterson, our Planning and Development Director.
Mayor Kelvin, members of the council, the city of Willmar has received petitions for 2 annexations. One of the petitions was from Dennis and James Thorpe for 9.9 acres on County Road 5 Northwest, and also for a 74.4 acre parcel owned by Ziegler south of the Mills property on South Highway 71. Both of these sites have been used as farmland for as long as I can remember. Both are contiguous with the current city limits, and the Planning Commission reviewed these petitions earlier this month and recommended entering into an orderly annexation agreement with Willmar Township. The township has considered this matter and has voted as of November 12th to adopt the joint resolution and to enter into the orderly annexation agreement. It's a recommendation of staff that the council adopt the joint resolution and enter into the orderly annexation agreement with Willmar Township. And to do so, you will need to enter into or adopt a resolution that grants the mayor and administrator authorization to execute the orderly annexation joint resolution. State statute requires that taxes and assessments be reimbursed to the township for a period of 2 to 8 years. In meeting with the township, we agreed that a 5-year payment of the current taxes would be adequate to be paid to the township, and that's the basis for that section of the orderly annexation agreement. That totals $581 per year, so we're not talking about a great payment that will be made to the township. Once these properties are developed, the taxes that will be paid on that property will far exceed that, so we will not miss that $581 required by statute. Again, staff would recommend that the resolution authorizing the mayor and administrator to execute the orderly annexation joint resolution be approved, and at that time, if it is approved, we will get the city signatures, go back to the township, get their signatures, and submit it to the State Office of Boundary Adjustments.
I'd move the adoption of the resolution and enter into the orderly annexation joint resolution agreement with Willmar Township.
Second.
Was been made and seconded. Discussion. Councilmember Christensen,
Thank you,
followed by Alvarado.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We're going to have two resolutions here? One for each?
The way I understand it, I think we can adopt the first resolution, and that authorizes the mayor and administrator to execute the joint resolution on behalf of the city. So I think you can do it with one.
The land out by the college off of County Road 5,
Yes.
are we going to independently vote on that one, is my question, versus doing both of them at the same time? Because the other one is out south by Mills.
Well, the way this was put together, it was structured as an orderly annexation for both parcels, and both parcels were included in the same process because they're both in Willmar Township. I guess I would defer to legal counsel, for a response as to whether or not they can be separated at this point.
As presented, Mayor, members of the council, it is one resolution that would accomplish both annexations. If the council wishes to only pursue one of the two annexations, I think you would have to give us direction to redraft the resolution, and that would have to be represented to Willmar Township and then brought back to you for approval with just the parcel that you are interested in annexing.
My question is for the parcel out there on County Road 5, which is going to be a part of a TIF district, as I understand it.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Alvarado.
I think I'm okay, thank you.
Additional questions? I had one question called into me over the weekend. Is there an intent to pave from Highway 71 to the westerly boundary of this annexation property? Will that be just put into our normal process? I said, I don't know the answer. I said, I'll ask.
At this point, no. At some point in the future, if there's additional development to the west, it may be necessary, but this property will be able to be accessed from the paved portion that exists now.
Yeah, I didn't know that answer. Any other questions? All those in favor of the resolution
It's a resolution.
Roll call.
to enter into the orderly annexation joint resolution agreement with Willmar Township, roll call?
Councilmember Christensen,
No,
Schwantes.
Aye.
Alvarado,
Aye.
Osmus,
Aye.
Meske,
Aye.
Nelson.
Aye.
5 ayes, 1 nay.
Does that pass, Mr. Scott?
That passes.
So we don't need a major majority?
Nope. Simple majority of those present and voting on a resolution.
Okay. That resolution passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Peterson. Appreciate it. Okay. Next, we have consideration of council retreat for January 2019. Mr. Holland.
Mayor and council, tonight I'm making a recommendation that we approve the hiring of Bruce Miles of Big River Group LLC to facilitate the council retreat. As you know, we have tentatively set a date for January 11th, which is a Friday, and the 12th, which is a Saturday. This is where the council and the staff would get together and prioritize the items from the budget to the projects for 2019. The cost of this would be $5,820 for his services. This would include services prior to the retreat, during the retreat, and then follow up afterwards. This was not bid out. This was a recommendation coming from the mayor, and I also went back to staff, the department heads, and got their opinions from them, and it was 100% that they were in favor of hiring Mr. Bruce Miles. So at this time, I would ask for consideration for Bruce Miles and going forward with this contract. Questions?
Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Councilmember Metzger, followed by Nelson.
I didn't have my hand up.
Councilmember Nelson.
No, just clarification. So that's the only thing we're going to do at retreat? Is that the only thing that's going to be on the agenda?
The agenda hasn't been finalized yet, but those are two of the things we will be on the agenda.
If you have agenda items that you'd like discussed, either get with Mr. Holland or, Ms. Thompson or myself, we'll make sure we get them on the agenda. I know we have a number of things, but my understanding is when Mr. Miles talks to each of you, if you have items that you would like added, similar to what he did in the past, that those items would then be added. I think we want to be pretty encompassing, and we'll set the timeframes for that once we know how much we have to work on. But it'll be Friday, probably afternoon, evening, and then Saturday. So, Councilmember Maskey.
I did field a few questions after our last retreat. People were concerned that we were having the retreat in Spicer or out of town. Are we planning to have the retreat in Willmar?
Yeah, the retreat will be at Bremer Bank. It will not be outside of town.
Oh.
I believe that's what the arrangement's made, right?
Yes, Janelle has made those arrangements, and right now Bremer will allow us to use their facility.
Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign.
Abstain.
That motion does carry. City Administrator comments.
Speaking of meetings, I wanted to bring up a couple of things. I was talking with staff about it today. When I look at December, we've got 5 Mondays. And so my question is, under our current policy, we would have the two regular sessions on the 3rd and the 17th. And then on the 31st, which is New Year's Eve, would be an additional work session. So we have a couple options. One, we could do the work session on the 10th, and that means we would have those 3 consecutive Mondays. Or 2, we would not have a third meeting in the month of December. And it would be great if we could get a consensus tonight so that we can adjust our calendars accordingly. And I would take any recommendations or suggestions.
Councilmember Maskey.
I don't have any suggestions about what to put on the future agendas, but in light of the last couple, if the agendas are going to be particularly light, and we're going to have an hour between, maybe we can push the working session to 6 instead of 5. Because it seems if we're not going to have full agendas, then we probably don't need to allocate 2 hours to that. Sorry.
Yeah, I was asked by staff if I wanted to do exactly that or even cancel it and move that information to the next meeting. And I did that once, and it was not received well from the council, and I heard about it loud and clear, so that's why I didn't do it again, so. But, Councilmember Schwantes.
I'll make a recommendation that we meet on the 3rd, the 10th, and the 17th. And that would be our month. So we'd have
3 meetings.
special meeting, the extra work, yeah, 3 meetings. And so 3 work sessions and 2 council meetings.
Okay.
Is that a consensus then?
Is there consensus with
The
that?
3rd, 10th, and 17th?
I'll
And then-
second that recommendation.
Okay, so there's been a motion made and seconded to have the meetings the 3rd, 10th, and 17th. I would just like some clarification. If there's a light agenda, will I have the authority or the administrator have the authority to condense that down then to an hour instead of a full 2 hours? Okay, Councilmember Nelson.
At your pleasure.
I know the 3rd will be dealing with budget items that needs to be moved to the council meeting that night. And if we can't approve the budget that night, we can continue it, is that correct, to the 2nd council meeting? So,
That is correct.
yeah. So I would think we'll need the full-time. I would just say if we don't have enough items on the 10th, that we do not do the work session, so.
Okay, I'm a little confused. So we're not going to act on the budget on the 3rd?
No, I said
If we
you
can.
could, but we should be able to wrap it up on the 3rd. Shouldn't be that, I don't think it's going to take 2.5 hours or 2 hours.
No, it's just a backup plan that if we still have questions on the budget on the 3rd, it was my understanding we could continue it to the next one.
We could do it on either the 10th or even the 17th. It doesn't have to be done until the end of the month. So we're fine.
Okay. So the motion that's out there with a friendly amendment is that we meet on the 3rd, the 10th, and the 17th with the possibility of condensing the time frame that we meet. Are you suggesting something different? I don't think you are, but I just want to make sure you're not suggesting something different. Councilmember Nelson.
No, I just think that the latitude, if there's not agenda items, just to not meet, so. I'm fine.
Okay.
I think we're saying the same thing.
Okay. All in favor of the motion as presented and amended, signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Mr. Holland.
Okay, and then also, if you look at your calendars in January, we'll have a council meeting on the 7th, and then we would have the second meeting on the 21st, but that is Martin Luther King Day. So we will have that meeting on the 22nd of January. And then the work session is scheduled for the 14th. However, we're going to have the retreat that 11th and the 12th. So that's my question, Mayor, is since we're having the retreat on the 11th and 12th, that Friday and Saturday, do we want to have the work session also on the 14th? Is my question.
Yeah, I believe we do, because that's where we're going to make the public aware of what we talked about at the retreat, but I'll leave that up to the council. Councilmember Rasmus.
I thought there was something about that first one in January. It had to be after the first full Monday.
No, it's the first Monday after the first Tuesday.
First Monday after.
So the Tuesday
Got
is
it,
the
okay.
first, and so the
Okay.
7th is the first.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you would like to talk about the retreat results on the 14th?
Well, that's my thought. It's up
There
to
wouldn't be anything in the packet, but,
Correct. No, it'd just be an open discussion of what we talked about at the
Okay.
retreat, just so that the public knows what we talked about.
okay, very good.
14th.
And that's all I have tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. Under the mayor's announcements, I've got that Celebrate the Light of the World lights will be turned on Thursday night. And so, council, if you're able to be out there for that, I think that would be appropriate. Mr. Miller has talked to me, and I will be out there that night. We were hoping to be able to do a temporary throw the lights tonight, but it didn't get put together. We're hoping to have a red switch so that the council could have all been there and we would have all done it together. But so I think they're thinking about something like that for Thursday night. At least that's what he's talked to me about. So it'd be nice if we could all be out there when the switch gets thrown for that. So I encourage you to be there.
What time?
He has not given me a time. Mr. Holland will get that out to the council, what time that'll be done at. But
It's dark early.
It's dark earlier and earlier all the time. Do you know, Rob, what time he's thinking of doing that? I thought he told me 5 o'clock, but I'm not sure. But, yeah, we'll check with that and we'll get it out to the council on what that is. And the other thing is that, this is Thanksgiving week. We have so much to be thankful for here in this community. A lot of great things are happening, and I'm really pleased to be reelected to serve as mayor again and to serve alongside of the 4 council members that were voted in as well. So we have a very bright future in front of us. So with that, I'll start with Councilmember Nelson.
I will just pass, say,
Councilmember Christensen.
Just one question. Several people have asked me if there's are we going to have a cross out on Robbins Island?
Yes.
Super. There's your answer.
Councilmember, well, I believe unless it got taken out, but it was there yesterday when I drove through. So yes, Councilmember Swantis.
I'd like to thank the voters for their support of the local option sales tax. It is really sending a clear message that this community likes what we've been doing and the positivity of things, and it's going to be a busy couple of years going forward, so we just thank them for their confidence.
Thank you. Councilmember Alvarado.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to echo that appreciation on the sales tax also. I'm very excited about the projects that's going to be generated from that. I believe that's going to make Willmar a destination along with a destination playground. People are going to want to come here. If somebody comes up to you and says, hey, what can we do in Willmar in the wintertime? We've got to celebrate the lights of the world, and I think that's going to be rocking. They turned practice lights on the other day, and boom, cars were just turning in just automatically. It was a magic. So if anybody asks, check out Robbins Island. That's going to be a big deal. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Metzke.
I was also going to mention Celebrate Light of the World. I think it's pretty neat how the Destination Playground has actually merged with the warming house and donation houses. It looks like a little village, which is pretty neat. I can't wait to see that lit up. Hopefully people got out to see the reveal of the Ron Adams painting Graceland at the community center. That was a big deal. I watched it I couldn't attend at a pre-Thanksgiving, but I watched it on Facebook. It looked like it was fairly well attended. And it looks gorgeous. I stopped to look at it quick on the way. Holidays Parade, if you didn't see that, that's also, I see it on Facebook. Again, looks like very well attended despite being cold. And shout out to the Willmar Cardinal football team. Mm-hmm. Sorry if I'm stealing all your thunder, Julie, but this had to be said. Going to be playing in the Prep Bowl Friday at 4 o'clock. First time I've been there since 1973. So if you have an opportunity to take a fan bus, go. If not, please go. It would be nice to have a huge contingency there, which I assume there will be. So lots of things to do.
Thank you. Councilmember Asmus.
I should have been before him.
You moved. That's
Squatters' rights.
Yes, he brought up Ron Adams' painting. It's out at the community center. And it's titled Graceland, had the unveiling on Sunday. And if you get the chance, go out to see it. It's just a fabulous, fabulous painting. It took him 2 years to put that together and to finish it. And shout out to Darlene Schrader for all the work she put into writing the grant and soliciting funds and making that happen. And go Cards.
Exactly.
Friday's game.
Exactly. Yes, good stuff. A lot of good things happening in the city and a lot of things to be proud of. And so everybody, remember to spend time with family and have a great Thanksgiving. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We are adjourned.